Doc, when I read these two books, one is Tribes by Seth Godin, and one is Tribal Leadership by Dave Logan.
Yeah.
Two powerful books about how people, when they get together, lots more happens.
Yes.
Would you like to say the value of a group, whether it's a group of friends or it's family getting together once in a way? I know a lot of people have family chats across the globe. Would you like to say the effects of that? What is it? How does it work?
The groups is very much active in India. We have groups for families, we have groups for doctors, we have fitness groups, we have neighborhood groups, we have yoga group, we have countless groups. And I think this groupism doesn't work, is not so prevalent or not so rampant in UK, for example. When I went there, we wanted to form a group of doctors to, disseminate information very quickly to say that if something needs to happen in a team, why don't we have a WhatsApp group? Why can't we just sort of put a message to say that, can everybody come down for coffee and cake? And that was not happening. People say that, no, it invades your privacy. We don't want everything to be in public domain and so on. People like to be distant. They distance themselves. They like to stay away. Indian people are not like that. We like to chat. We like to converse. We like to share. And that's a very good thing. WhatsApp is allowed that. But we have taken it to a next level where the groupism has become such a sensitive areas.
Yeah.
Not just that the information dissemination has become easy, but the sensitivity in groups are so high that even if somebody says something which is contrary to your opinion, even by a percentage, then they will defy you, they will oppose you. And then that leads into controversies and complications.
A lot of other wheels within wheels.
And as you know, Ian, that anything which is typed in text always looks or at least sounds or reads ruder than what you say in person. I've experienced that. So if I want to say something and you say, no, I don't agree with you, then I'll counter that and so on. Then it looks like a conflict. But if I call you, it doesn't happen.
And especially with men. Men want to do this, they are always competitive creatures. So,
and that's a good word he picked up. So groupism leads to dissemination of information, sense of belonging and purpose, and sharing. You share everything that you have. But it also leads to confrontation and conflicts. We need to balance that to say how can you minimize conflict and how can you maximize the potentials of the group. And what you mentioned in the positivity rules group is that you want to maximize potentials and not to argue over things which are not important. And I saw that, I think something happening like that today or yesterday, where you very, very gently nudged and say that, this is not the purpose of what we are doing.
Good group admin can do a lot of good stuff for a group and to keep it together. Otherwise, we had one incident earlier where somebody said, you can't say this to Ian. And somebody said, then forget about it. I'm leaving this group. I'm thinking like, what? Hello. I wasn't even involved in this. So, yeah, so there's a lot of disinformation. Actually, today people have become highly sensitive. And I think we should address that.
And but one of the other things about, just to carry on from Ian's question, is that groupism also leads to one of the negative aspects that I talked about at the very beginning, is that it makes us anxious when we are alone. So when we are too involved and too embroiled with each other, too connected, then we have absolute inability to be alone. Every waking moment that when person is alone, they feel inadequate, they feel abandoned, they feel left out. They, in the digital word, they call fear of missing out. So you say that if you're alone at home, you feel nervous and tense. When you put your phone away and you can't get hold of it for even a few minutes, then you fear that you might be missing out, you might be left out.
Yes.
And that is a downside to groupism. That is a downside to heavily networking. And I think if we want to fully enjoy benefits of groups and networks, then we also need to learn to be alone. We need to learn to be in solitude. And this is one of the things I shared this morning in the group about, not fearing solitude and what is the difference between solitude and isolation. Yes, I will come. And that also answers the question about the isolation one of our participants asked earlier, to say that why do we feel so inadequate and worried when we are alone? Because we have forgotten to be alone. The difference between solitude and isolation is this. Solitude is a conscious choice. You want to go away to a serene place. You want to be alone. You want to connect better with your thoughts and feelings, to connect with yourself and to connect with the surroundings. It's a conscious choice. You choose to be in solitude, you go away, to be in solitude, to be with yourself. Isolation is in many cases involuntary. It's a disconnection. You're broken away from something else. You're taken away from something else. Because isolation disconnects you. It breaks you away from what you love and what you are belonging to. It leaves you a sense of anxiety and discomfort. There is ways to deal with isolation. Even when you're in isolation, in that article I wrote very clearly to say that when we are isolated, if we have learned to be alone, then we can convert the isolation, which is involuntary, where we are forcefully removed by restrictions and pandemic. We can convert that into solitude.